Hey, folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Talk Fishing with No Limits. Today, we are very fortunate to have Wisconsin, or just North America's most recent freshwater fishing Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Jason Przekurat. How is it going, Jason? Tell me all about it. That's freaking awesome. Congratulations. This is
Yeah,
huge.
yeah, thanks. It's crazy to even think I'm in the Hall of Fame because I never envisioned that when I started fishing. It was just something that I knew was up in Hayward, Wisconsin, and we drive by it occasionally to look at the big muskie that's sitting out front, and now now I'm inside of it. I actually got a plaque in there, and but yeah, it's been a crazy 30 some years of just running all over the country and doing everything I can for the fishing industry and just trying to make a name for myself.
I think you have, obviously, and like you said, your friend Mark is the one that nominated you in there, and if he didn't, I'm sure there was others that were going to, if they have not already, or soon would be happening with a guy like
Mhm.
yourself. You've been doing this professional fishing for, like you said, 30 years. I mean, just we've had you on before. We talked about your long tournament career. Uh, Everybody comes at it different. There's educators in there. There's writers in there. There's pro fishermen in there. That's not that's gotta be the hardest way to make it, I think, from just being on the pro fishing
Yeah, I'm
side of
sure
it.
it is. Being a fisherman to make it in that way is not the easiest. When you look at the list of guys, there's about 500 plus people in the Hall of Fame, and there's not a ton of fishermen in there. It's a pretty small number actually. There's a lot of people that are in the industry just doing whatever. A lot of writers,
Media and yep.
people that do media. Just the list goes on and on. But yeah, to do it that way, I mean, to fish and make it is one thing, but the criteria to make it into the Hall of Fame is more than people think because there's a list you have to go through to even qualify to be in front of the board to get inducted, even voted on. So they look at a lot of things, not just tournament wins. That's just a piece of it. A lot of things you do off the water, how you promote the sport, what have you done, basically any direction possible to promote the sport of fishing and to grow it and to keep people involved. And that's I've done a lot of that through the years, and a lot of it people don't even realize because it all started back when I was in my 20s and early
Yep.
30s, just because of love of fishing. Just for an example, I was a muskie guy growing up, and Mark and I fished a lot of muskie tournaments, but then I started getting into walleyes. And I thought, you know what? We need a club in our area that is a multi species club because I don't want to just hang out with all muskie guys or all walleye guys. I want people that fish. I don't care what you fish for. And so we literally started it in my basement one day. I think we had 5 people downstairs, and we put together an idea and brought it to life. And we've done a lot of things with that club. It's literally people from all different fishing aspects, from guys that don't even have boats in it were in our club because we'd run Tuesday night events where we'd match up a boater with a non-boater so they could go out fishing, and I'd run a league for the whole summer and just keep track of all the total inches of whatever you caught. I don't care what it is.
Right.
Bluegills, crappies, muskies, walleyes, carp, whatever. And that grew pretty big, and then I started a tournament with 3 bass and 3 walleyes. So you had to catch 6 fish a day, 2 different species, which really opened a lot of eyes to a lot of guys
Yeah.
because it's not easy to catch both species in one day, and you do it for 2 days. And did that for a lot of years, had some good fundraising from that. And then we just started growing the club, and then we fixed boat ramps. I think we fixed 4 or 5 different boat ramps in the probably a 30 square mile area around us, and had a lot of volunteers help out with that. And we put up handicap ramps and fishing piers for them. I mean, just that went on and on and on. And yeah, I mean, that started when I was in my late 20s. So that's just one thing.
And I'm sure there's a ton more, and it was obviously before the social media days
Yeah.
and era, so it's nobody knows about most of these things except
Yeah.
those Mark or those around you or in your organization, but that's impact is huge. I mean, you
Yeah.
brought in 5 guys, you probably ended up with 10, 20, 30, 40 guys fishing
Yeah.
and
I think
gals
we
fishing
did
these
almost
clubs, and then
50
they're
at one point, so that was a pretty big number of people, and for our
yeah,
area, that's a lot of people, and just just a lot of help, volunteers that help run tournaments and get sponsorships to help out, and, I mean, it's a full-time project if anybody's involved with a fishing club.
yep,
It's just not show up for a
yeah.
meeting once a month. It's pretty involved.
Yeah, and those things, they speak volumes, and I mean, a lot of the people probably doesn't see it. We're just in a whole totally different world nowadays with the high school fishing, the college
Yeah.
fishing, the clubs and getting the numbers of people, but way back 10 years ago when these things it was still doing it all by hand and then having to
Yeah.
pick up the phone and call and communicate and organize. It's a lot easier now with the email and the social media to get the word out and get people to show up. I don't know if maybe more people show up now than did then. I don't know, but they're pulled 10 different directions now. But
Yeah, and there's just so much to do nowadays, and people to try and get people together at the same time in the same area doing the same idea is almost impossible. I mean, the Prime Water Anglers Fishing Club that I started, just as of last year is non-existent anymore. When I handed off the reins a few years back to other people I just didn't have the time to do everything,
you know,
and gave it to some other people to run, and they did a good job. Well, pretty soon they get older and they're not able to do it. Well, now you don't have anybody taking the reins anymore. And to find volunteers to do it, and it's volunteers, you're not getting paid,
you
and nobody wants to step up to the plate. So it's times are changing, and it is what it is, right? We just got to keep moving along with whatever's going on.
somebody somewhere will step up, and it maybe Jay does someday or something down the road,
Mhm.
or one of his friends or somebody from the club, somebody who feels that there's a need and wants to fill it, but it's harder. Volunteer nowadays is not quite like it was, but it depends on what it's for. I just handed off my league I started a couple years ago, just 'cause I don't have time to focus on it and give it all the attention it should have, and I think it's in
Mhm.
good hands and will be fine, but those guys will move on someday, but if people they want a lot of people will show up to fish or participate in the clubs, just
Exactly.
nobody wants to be in
Yeah.
charge of it,
So,
right? Nobody wants to do that
nope,
back end work that,
nope.
you know
All the older guys that were running them forever are fading away, and nobody's stepping up to the plate. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's the life we live nowadays, and all I know is I've had fun doing it and in the time I've had, and I'm not finished yet, but it's crazy how fast it goes. I felt like 2 years ago I was in the basement creating that club, and here we
Right.
are 30 some years later.
It does go fast, and, I mean, you obviously watch, raising some boys and family,
Yeah.
see how fast time goes, and I was explained to it once that it goes faster as we get older because
Mhm.
we have more memories and things to look back on that make our time go quicker. When you're little, you don't have anything to compare it to, and time seems
Right.
like it takes forever, right? You wanna
Yeah.
grow up when you're little. When you get old, like,
Exactly.
we're like, "We don't wanna
Yeah.
grow up anymore.
Well,
Slow it
now.
down. It's going too fast," right? We have too much going on in our head.
Yeah.
And I've always told sponsors that, or not sponsors, but people that it's hard. You boat Ranger boats forever, and like striking and lose for quite a few years with Evinrude for a long time.
Mhm.
Way back in the day. There's so much pre-social media. That's what everybody looks at now, and you can go up super fast and make a brand and a name. But 20 years ago, 30 years ago when you started, that wasn't the case.
No.
But there's so much intangible type stuff
Yeah.
that people don't see. That how many
So
conversations do you have at the gas station with the guy that pulls up?
Mhm. So much. I mean, back in the day, and prior to social media, I remember Sonny Reynolds, he was the tournament director at the RCL when I first started. And he couldn't say my last name to save his soul. Like, he had no idea. He's from he's from Kentucky, so he didn't have a clue. And I thought, well, how am I going to teach this guy how to say my name? And I thought, well, the more days I can fish, like if I make it to day 4 every tournament, he's going to get it eventually. So I made it a point to just fish well, so he would keep recognizing that name. And it took a couple years, but he figured it out. And back then you had to fish well to prove yourself. There was no
Yep.
social media to put stuff out there, and that's how you got credibility was just by finishing well, catching 5 good ones a day. I got lucky enough to do that in my early years and just kept ramping up the sponsor list and just working hard at that, and next thing you know, you're at the point where you can say, "Man, I should if I ever wanna quit my job, it's now."
Mhm.
You only get usually one shot at that, so that's what I did in 2007, and of course, that was when Evinrude was big in the industry, and they were my best sponsor, and then years down the road, they shut the doors, and that was a big hit for me in my career, but like anything in fishing, it's up and down and up and down. You just
Right.
go with the waves, and you just keep working hard and making things work, and that's what I've done for a lot of years. I mean, the social media part is it's harder for me just being a little older, and, I do what I can, and, the whole YouTube thing and that is I don't know, it's hard because you watch YouTubers that are really good, they've got that voice, they've got
Yeah.
the personality, and I'm not that guy. I'm more of a laid back kind of guy, just even keel, roll with the
Yep.
punches, work hard, focus extremely hard when I'm on the water, and I'm still that way mentally because that's how I got to this point was
Yep.
fishing well and cashing checks and winning some tournaments. So I don't know, this the whole YouTube thing for me is
It
hard to wrap my
it's
head.
worked for you well though, so and the YouTube
Yeah.
and all that stuff, it's not for everybody. I mean, that's what there's guys out there that have a big brand, but they don't do any of it, right? They're hired it
Right.
out to have somebody do it for
Right.
them 'cause they're like, "It's just they're not comfortable, they're not in," and
Right.
it's a hell of a lot of work to do it right and be super effective, or I mean, look at Bully, Tom
Tom
on with
Bully.
YouTube. I mean, that's it. That is all he does, right? And you're right, you kinda got it or you don't type thing.
People think
You
that
can get
that's easy
better.
what Tom does. I mean, that is
Hell no.
hard work. I mean, he does
Yeah,
a
he was
lot of editing
yeah,
himself, and he sits in a tent in the middle of nowhere and does editing, and he's up at the crack of dawn trying to catch the next big fish, and he never stops. He does it ice fishing, spring, summer, fall. I talked to Tom a few times, and he's just a good dude that does a good
yep.
job on the camera, and he's a hard worker, and it's paid off for him really good.
Yep, yeah, we had him on a few episodes ago, and he kind of explained his evolution of that, and him and I had I do a little bit of it, so I understand the self-filming, and you're doing it on the TV side with the next bite, so you
Mhm.
know how the stuff everybody gets to see the finished product,
Yeah.
right? They see the catches and they see the good ones. They don't see the 2 or 3 days that went into the 30-minute episode, right, or the hour, however long they are now, and all the weather, just all the stuff you had to deal with, or the unsuccessful ones that don't ever air.
Yeah, I tell
The, "Hey,
people
look."
it's worse to film a TV show than it is to fish a tournament because you have usually more money involved with all the overhead, camera
Yep,
guys, people, boats, travel, and then you have to get a show done wherever you're going. And we usually schedule a 3-day shoot
yep,
wherever we go in the hopes that we get done in one day, but I've scheduled 4-day shoots on trips to Columbia River, Lake Ontario, just because you don't know what the weather's going to be like.
no,
And we've literally came down to the last minute, the last day to get a show done on a 4-day trip. And that's only 20 some minute show. So there's a lot that
right.
goes into it that people don't see. And I have fun doing it. I mean, it's stressful, but it's fun to see the finished product. And, you can always go back and watch that years
Yep.
down the road. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough to be invited by Gary and Chase and the guys to do it. And, I'm only doing a couple shows a year for them, so it's not the end of the world. I'm not out there nonstop trying to get shows done. So I have fun with it.
It isn't easy. I've said the same thing. Tournament and guiding. I'm like, guiding's harder than a tournament because you're
Yeah.
only letting yourself down.
Right.
This is it. I
Right.
don't have to worry about you, right? Yourself
Mhm.
or a co-angler in some senses, but when you're guiding, it's not about you. It's about them and the entertaining and doing all the, doing all the things. I'm like, that's way more stress than guiding because
It's
it's just
hard.
you. And
I've
if you
done
screw up, you have a crappy tournament, you're like, that's on me, my fault. I'm, I can move on. Guiding, you're
Yep.
like, damn, that's
Yep.
no good. That could be,
Disappointed those people. They're not
yeah.
happy. Mhm.
Nope, they're not happy. Word of mouth is the best thing for business, and not catching them is
Right.
not a good word of mouth. So, it's I had that
Yeah, when
kind
I
of day.
quit
Saturday was horrible, but
yep,
Sunday was awesome. So,
yep,
it's fishing. That's why it's should have been
it's
here
fishing.
yesterday, right?
Yep. I quit my job in '07 to do it full time. I actually guided here at home. I don't know, probably 3, 4 years, but our stretch river's too small here. It's only like
No.
12 miles from dam to dam, and then we get another 12 miles from dam to dam, and I just don't have enough water right here close by
Yeah.
to enjoy it because you're literally fishing the same spots day after day after day and catching the same fish, and it's just if I'm not having fun doing it, the clients are not having fun doing it, and what's the point? So I quit
Yep.
doing that after 3 or 4 years.
It's tough to keep up that energy when
It
when
is.
you're just it's just
Mhm.
you're robotic. You know where you're going, you know what you're doing, you're just boom,
Yep,
you roll in, you throw them out, they
yep,
catch it, and
yep,
yay.
yep,
You're like, same thing,
yep.
same program as yesterday, and now you got a couple people following you, or everybody sees you because it's not that big a body of water, so there ain't no getting around it, and right?
That's another
Yeah,
issue. Yep.
trust me. Yeah. That's guiding for you, but it's the way it is. I have those moments and days, and when the fish aren't cooperating, it's like, well, let's do an education type day. Really focus on the why, the how, or the
Right.
electronics. And you get a lot of that sometimes because people just ask questions, but sometimes they're not.
Mhm.
So then
Right.
you gotta. It's a all right. It's just like YouTube. It's a skill set. It's an art. Tournament fishing's a skill set. It's an art. You got to figure it out.
I
And
always
over
said if
time, you
you
just get
guide for a living, that's their sole income, hats off to you because that's a hard job.
it's
Yep.
it is. That's why I have 5 of them, I think. So jobs, right? It's
Yep.
you just gotta do a little bit of everything. Oh,
Yep.
but I was trying to say you get people at the gas stations come up, and now your truck and your boat ramp, we stick out like a sore thumb. They're like, "Hey, that's that guy," and you're at boat shows talking to people. There's so much interaction that the sponsors don't see
Yep.
because it's not on social media. I mean, obviously, way back in the day, and still, I'm sure many of us are turning in quarterly or annual or by whatever reports,
Mhm.
kind of. But I mean, how many other reports are like, "Why talk to 50 people at a sports show?" I mean, you're not counting them. The reality
Right.
is, it's like, yeah,
Nobody keeps
I went to
track
a
of
sports show,
that. Yep.
right?
I worked for so and so and I did my job and I went home. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not keeping track of all those people you talk to throughout the entire season, and it's pretty endless. Like I don't even wanna know how many hundreds and hundreds of people you see or talk to, and you don't even know them. They just know who you are or
yep,
wanna talk to you about something. You know, the emails, the DMs, all the extra
yep.
questions, and, I
It
don't report all that stuff, but I'm sure the sponsors understand that we get talked to quite often.
Yeah, I mean, you're impacting them, whether you're
Right.
winning or not, right? They know obviously if you're winning way back in the day, it was what we'd call earned media. We
Yeah.
had outdoor writers, right? People showed up at those tournaments and was like, "Hey, cool," interviewed you, and then it was come out in an In Fisherman or whatever magazine. Now it's
Mhm.
get their phone out, quick interview, to photo, boom, and
Yep.
it's done and it's there. We don't have those type of people showing up doing those interviews now. In this era, it's more or less. I mean, the mask, Jay and those that's a whole different story. But our world, it's I got to interview you, you got to interview me, or I
Right.
got to share the picture, right? We kind of got to create it ourselves, more or less. We have some, and it's still going, and I think we're gonna move into that a little
We're
better in the future, hopefully.
we're
But
trying.
we're trying is right, and the walleye world's behind, and it's not as so much behind. It's just that a lot of us are like you and Springle and stuff who just aren't who are very chill, very even kill, like you said, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go do all this stuff. I'm just gonna go fish and kick ass, and you guys wanna know what I say, come ask me and I'll share it with you.
Right. Right.
You know?
I
I'll
mean,
I'll pose.
there was a time when, when I was working towards fishing for a living where we did a lot of that extra stuff, just reaching out to people, trying to get an article done here and there. I got to know enough writers and, back when magazines were good and when there was magazines. So
When there was, yeah,
did a lot
when
of
they
that
existed.
stuff, and just did a ton of seminars. I think the best year I had was 2007. In the year I won a lot of stuff that year and quit my job. I think I did 43 seminars that winter. But back then, they were calling me,
Right.
just because they wanted to hear me and I had a good year. But man, you don't have a good year, you get an average year or maybe even above average. They're not calling you. You got to reach out and book
Yep.
your winter through all these sports shows, and sports shows have changed over the years, and it's not quite
Yep.
what it used to be. It's an interesting business we're in, that's for dang sure.
It is. You're getting a hold of the owner of the sports show who has 5 different states,
Yep.
doesn't even know who you are and doesn't even care 'cause he's not paying any attention to it,
Right?
or she. They're looking at they know the big camper dealer or the boat dealer maybe,
Yep.
who's gonna rent a quarter of their space, but,
Yep.
hey, you're gonna bring in, you know, 50, 100 people at your seminar or whatever the space
Right.
is.
Right.
Those guys are paying a fair chunk of change, and not only that, it gets people to stick around longer at the shows. They're gonna go visit more vendors,
And then
buy a
go
few
buy
more
stuff
things,
and
more
done, yep.
concessions.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of shows have kinda gone away from it. Some shows are still doing it. I'll do a few, and I'll just have as a guide, "Alright, I'll do a seminar in exchange for a booth."
Right.
Fair
Right.
enough,
Mm.
I mean, you can probably make charge a little more, but it's like, I'll give you one, 1
Right.
hour, but I know it brings in 50 guys because they all come over afterwards and they come to your booth and they hang out, and fishermen love to talk fishing, love to tell
Yeah.
fishing stories.
That's why they're there. Yep. I was
That's
in
why they're
Madison
there.
last week, and I had my Hall of Fame induction, and I didn't even hardly get into the show. I was there for, I don't know, maybe an hour before my speech, and I took one lap down an aisle and one lap back out of the expo, and I don't even know how many people I saw. I probably talked to 12 or 15 people that just grabbed me out of the blue to talk and say congrats or whatnot. And I'm like, dang, I was planning on coming here to be a normal
Fly on the
person.
wall.
Just want to go through a show one time and just see all the booths and walk,
All right.
talk, and I made it down one aisle, and that was it.
Yeah, you don't get to be just a normal person anymore, Jason.
I guess.
Those days, you're a Hall of Fame. You're legendary now, man.
I don't think of it that way. I mean, I'm just a guy that loves to fish, and I've had a good career getting to this point. So I'm guessing it helps a little bit too that now I've got a son that's taken over the bass world too, and he's having a great career. And I mean, dude, I just like to fish. I mean, I don't even care what I'm catching. I like to catch fish and enjoy the
Mhm.
outdoors. We don't get to just go have fun and fun fish very much anymore. I want to get into
Mm-mm.
that a little bit more, like maybe take a week's vacation and just go somewhere,
Right.
stay on a lake and go fish. I haven't done that probably since my honeymoon. I don't even know. It's been so long.
Right. You get that 5 weeks vacation a year, but those are the 5
Mm.
tournaments that you gotta go
Yeah.
to, and that's kinda I look at them as like they're my little vacations because then it's guiding,
Yep.
and then you get it's
Yep.
like, wife wants to go do something. I'm like, "Alright." All I
Yep.
think of is, "Where we going fishing? Where we going fishing?" But it's we take our little trip to the mountains every fall, and
We do that.
we
Yep.
mix in a little fly fishing and
Mhm.
what have you, but, yeah, you definitely need those, but, I don't know, my world, which I probably like yours, we love to hunt, we love to
Oh,
fish, so when we think about vacation, our minds go outdoorsy, right? We're going
sure.
somewhere outdoorsy.
Yeah, I like to hunt
So,
more than I like to fish. So if that tells you anything, I once the boat gets sold in the fall and deer hunting season kicks in, then I'm in deer mode. It's fishing's gone for about 2 months. It's just non-existent, and I don't ice fish anymore. I just don't get into it. So it's just a vicious cycle of fish and then hunt as hard as you can until the season's over, and then it's time to get back to the grind and work sponsors and get stuff done for the following year. It's never ending.
nope, nope, it isn't, but it's a job, but like I said,
Mhm.
I just love to fish. That's
Yeah,
why you're at Hall of Fame. That's why you've been successful is because you do what you love to do, you're passionate about it, you're putting everything you got into it.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you lose a sponsor, you find some new ones, you do what they needs to get done, and
Mhm.
then you attack these bodies of water and you and
Yeah,
you win. You won some
you got oh,
championships. You
yeah.
done well.
I said the easiest part of my job is when I take off from the ramp on tournament day and go fishing. Like
Yep.
the rest of the job is stressful, and yeah, you get a lot of no's from sponsors, and this one backs out. Now you got to find somebody to replace them, and keep your income coming in, and then keep the ones happy that you do have. And the fishing part is not as stressful for me. That's when I blast off from that dock and they call your boat number. See you guys later. I'm by myself now for the next 8 hours.
Yep.
I'm gonna have
What I
some
always
fun.
loved tournaments was our no phone rule, and I could just turn that
Yeah,
sucker off and throw it in the
right.
glove box
Yep.
for the whole day. And just be like,
Yep.
that's it. It's
Yeah.
freedom,
Yep.
right?
It's awesome.
It is awesome. Yeah, just awesome. An awesome journey to get to where you're at. Congratulations is freaking I made the
Yeah.
you made the Facebook post about it months ago when you found out, and then again, and I said it then. I'll say it again. It's just you earned it. There it is. Awesome. I mean, we got and you earned it the hard way. I
I
from
think
outside
so.
looking in how I see it. I think that's the hardest way to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of guys aren't fishing 20, 30 years worth of tournaments. They can't,
Exactly. I mean,
you
I just
know.
thought about it the other day. I hate to brag, or I'm not that guy, but I'm like, I'm the only guy that's fished every RCL, every FLW, and every National Walleye Tour event. And that
Yep.
started in 2000 when the RCL had their first championship. That was a standalone event. And I've never missed one ever since. Never missed a tournament. Like, never had an
That's
issue with
it's
health
hard to
or
do. I
family
mean,
issues.
health,
I mean, that's a
family,
hard thing to do because
weddings,
there's
graduations,
yeah,
breakdowns. That's really hard to do.
yeah. So yeah, I can look at that and
Even
say, boy, I've been through hell and back.
and I believe you made every championship?
I've never
NWT
missed a
anyway.
championship in anything. For a few years there, we didn't have to qualify,
Right.
and then for a few
Yep.
years we did, and then we didn't, and now we do again. And so that's been a roller coaster, but never missed one of those. And I've only won two of them, well, three of them actually. I won the MWC, but um, boy, I've had some chances to win some more, and they just slip away from you. You can't cry about it. It is what it is. It all comes back around if you just keep
Right.
fishing it, and it did.
Just
So,
keep fishing.
yeah,
And that apple hasn't fallen far from the tree because Jay grew up watching you work your tail off and get to where you are. And now you have one of the top bass angler elite guys fishing the Bassmaster Classic this week.
yeah. I'm actually flying out tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm sure I'll be there when this airs, but yeah, we're heading over there to watch him in Knoxville. This will be the second time they're in Knoxville, and we've
Yep.
got a pretty good crew coming down to cheer him on. And we'll see what happens. I don't know. He's a lot like me when it comes to fishing.
Mhm.
You don't know. There's only a few times where he's actually told me like, yeah, I think I'm on something pretty good here. But he's never been that way, and you know, it's fishing. You don't know if they're going to be there
Right.
tomorrow or the next
And
half hour. You
you don't
don't.
want that overconfidence because
No,
when you go there
no, you
tomorrow, they're
just
not there, right?
you need to be thinking about 6 steps ahead at every moment because
Yep.
you know how it is. It's hard to keep fish where you want them for X number of days. It just doesn't happen. You run out of fish, they move, whatever. You need to adjust on the fly. And the guys that do that well are the guys that are consistently on top. It's all about that quick decision of, okay, they're not here anymore. Now what? Where do we go? What do you do?
Yep. Or your boat 100 and everybody else found the same fish and
All right.
sorry.
Boat numbers
Hope you're there
matter.
the next day for the first boat out because you're not going to get to them today.
No.
Oh,
So,
now,
yep.
how is that watching your boy take off Bassmaster Classic morning coming up? I was going to go this. I have a boat show this weekend, so I
Yep.
can't go because I missed it last year because it was my wife and I's 10-year anniversary, so we were at Big Cedar. But you know how it is. We
Oh,
gotta go do these shows for our boat companies because that's the deal. So staying home, not going to Classic. I think it's going to be a good one. But I was there a couple of years ago
yep.
watching that take off in the morning. I mean, this is cool.
Crazy, isn't it?
It
I
is.
tell people that, if you ever want to go, you should go to this one in Knoxville just because it's the best venue they have for location, ease of access to all the facilities. The takeoff is literally minutes from the weigh in. you can
Oh,
walk
way
out
better.
over versus
Yeah, then
we were in Fort Worth last year. We have to drive an hour and a half by bus to get to the ramp at 6 in the morning and watch them take off at 7. It's
same with
just a lot of
Oklahoma.
travel, and it's a long day when you don't even when I'm
Yep,
not even fishing, it's a long day because I still work
yep,
at the expo during the day.
right.
But yeah, to watch him take off in the morning, I remember the first one he was ever in, that was pretty surreal. I kinda I was holding his boat before takeoff. I think he was boat 7 or something, and Dave Mercer starts getting on the loudspeaker, and the music's playing, and they start pushing boats off, and I'm like I shoved him off, and he took off, and I'm like, "Holy shit," watching
Right.
him away from me, and I'm like, "That kid's in the Bassmaster Classic." I remember sitting on the couch with him when he was about 10 years old, and he said something to me about, "Oh, I'm gonna be in the Bassmaster Classic someday," and I'm like, "Okay, how are you gonna do that?" And we start talking about the roads you need to be to take to get to the Bassmaster Classic, and what are you gonna do being a kid from Wisconsin who can't fish all winter versus the kid that's in Texas who's the same
Yep,
age as you, is fishing all year? How are you gonna be better than him when you get older? All these little things we talked about, and he took it to heart, and he literally took off running when we started that venture. You gotta watch him weigh in and everything. I don't even know what's gonna happen if he wins this thing because I'm gonna be a mess. I'm gonna tell you that right I'm gonna
and
be a
you
mess.
should be,
I should
and
be.
you should be,
Yeah, and then we're gonna have
and
a
it's
hell of a party.
and he's got a whole walleye world of fans behind him because
Right.
of his dad, and
Yeah.
watching Jay grow up, and just and if maybe I watch it on Bass Live, you're there, your name comes up every episode.
Yeah,
It's not
it's been
Jay,
coming up,
it's
I
he's the
know
son
them
of this
guys.
walleye guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of them guys now over the years,
Yep,
and Davey Height and I used to run with Team
yep,
Evinrude for years, and
yep,
we had plenty of meetings together with me and him. There's this Yeah, I mean, they know what walleye is. It's crazy how many walleye fans are now bass fans just because of Jay.
yep,
But that's what I love about it because we're just fishermen, right? I don't
right,
give a
yep,
shit if you're catching a bass or a walleye. If
yep,
you say bass are easier than walleye, which they are, I'm gonna be honest with you.
right,
Who cares, right? We just want to go
yep.
fishing and share this love for the sport, and that's what we do.
This is true. We have it. There's obviously a wave of young guys. We have a wave of young guys kind of moving into the NWT as well, which is good. That's how the
Yep.
sport's supposed to work.
Yep.
In our National Wildlife Tour world, we have a program, so we have the amateur side, and that's the idea is they do that for a year or 2 or 3, and some switch over, and we've kind of seen, I don't know, maybe 3 to 6 a year maybe have kinda have
Yep.
stepped up and say 6 a year, maybe 3 or maybe about half of those kinda works out and they continue on. But
Yep.
it's the evolution of it. It's how a lot of people, um, have
That's what
have
I
come
did.
through those.
I was an
Yep,
amateur in '95, and I just learned from the pros and thought I'd take a chance and buy a bigger boat and fish the MWC the following year. Well, then I was terrible. Like, I was sucking bad for like 3 years. I couldn't catch a fish. Well, my wife's home.
but you
Oh,
learned.
wow. But I learned. I
But you
learned
learned.
quickly, like, okay, it's not as easy as it looks when I was an amateur. Them pros put you on a
Right.
fish. Now I got to be the
There
pro to put myself on a fish. Yeah, you
Yep.
just learn as you go and just grind it out all the time,
I
no matter what. So,
I think Randy Hummel was one of your co-anglers once when he was
uh,
getting going,
yeah,
and I believe Max Wilson was one of Randy Hummel's co-anglers when he was getting going,
there you go.
you know? And Hoyer was a co-angler for a few
Moyer
years
was
for
my
plenty of
co-angler one
guys, and for
time
Pat and
too.
I, it was yours, right? Yeah, so, I mean, there's that's it. There's the evolution of it. I never did the co-angler side, and I really, really sucked my first year, and I never been to those bodies of water.
Yep,
Had no idea, and
yep, it's
did
hard.
I think I averaged like 120th, you know? Second year was great, finished at least top 25,
Yeah,
but now going back to those places it's the growing pains, kind of the cost of entry in a sense.
it's a
So,
learning curve, isn't it? I mean, you can't just expect
yeah,
to dominate. It's not going to happen that way. And it's take your lumps when you can, learn from it, and just keep trucking. You'll get there if you just put in the effort. So
Yep.
it
Yeah.
works.
Stick with it. Be persistent. And you're seeing that. I was kind of saying the bass. I got these new guys, but you also got, like, you know, Jay's got a big following of the walleye world, but you got all these guys from the Midwest. Now we got Fothergill and then Canadian boys. You got all these Midwest and Northerners doing pretty damn good.
They're good
So
fishermen just because we have a diverse fisheries up here.
right.
Like we've
Yep.
got everything you can imagine to catch fish, like from clear water, dirty waters, rocks, weeds,
Rivers. Yep.
rivers, reservoirs, lakes, deep, shallow, anything you can imagine we have here. So you can learn it all within literally within a couple hours of my house. You have every possibility, including Great Lakes. And it's that's why you're seeing a lot of these guys do well, I believe, is just because of that diversity. They have to learn a little bit more about what's going on down south as far as fish movements of fish in Alabama are a little different than
Right.
they are up here just because their seasons are different. But it's not that hard to learn. Take you a year or two and you figure things out. It's when Kevin Van Dam was the only guy from the Midwest that fished professionally for bass, I think it was intimidating because he was so far up north, it's too far for people to drive to go to
Oh yeah.
Florida and over to Texas and then back to Michigan and Wisconsin and then back down. But nowadays, people realize it's very doable and the guys are signing up to do it, to qualify for the elites. And now you're seeing them all. Like there's a lot more good fishermen left up here that should be in the bass elites, but they
Yep.
just took the step to
They'll
do
get
it.
there though.
They're getting there.
Some don't want to, but some are getting there. They're just going,
Dang good
they
fishermen.
got the system. They got the
Yeah,
opens. And I think you see that in the walleye world. You gotta got the Great Lake anglers, and for years just been trolling and what have you, but they would come west and try to fish the reservoirs and rivers and just d I mean, there's current on the Great Lakes, obviously, but not like there's rivers, but you got your
right.
Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin guys tend to do pretty good everywhere, but same thing. I think we're very diverse,
Yeah,
clean, dirty, weeds,
yeah,
rocks, rivers, current, a
yeah,
lot of current, Mississippi River current,
yeah,
Missouri River current. And then boom, you go out to Superior, Michigan, you know, Erie, Huron. You're like, all right, this is different, but you and I and others understand those currents. And you can seem to adjust better, I think, than like guys that
for
all
sure.
they've ever. I mean, I've seen it. Co-anglers show up on the river here, and they're from out from Ohio, and they're like, you hand them a spinning reel, and they're like, "What's this?" You know,
Yeah,
all they've ever done is troll, pull cranks. I'm like,
big
turn
difference.
it over.
Yeah,
Big, yeah,
yeah,
big difference.
big difference.
But everybody's getting obviously a little more diverse. Obviously, with live scope's a big thing in the game nowadays, and live scope, no matter where you go. But still understanding all those aspects is huge.
Yeah, just because you have it don't mean you're going to be in the top 10.
No, no. I
We've
mean,
seen that.
right,
Yeah,
everybody has it now, and everybody's not in the top 10, so you still got to know how to use it. Speaking of that stuff, we got things are progressing. NWT's made some changes. Ton of unanswered questions, which is okay and to be expected or not. Like I've always said on here before, is I'm not too concerned about it. I'm focused on 2026 before I worry about 2027.
right.
But there's obviously a lot of variables, and people are like, what are you going to do this? What's this? Who knows and who cares? Shut up and fish, right? Let's just
Pretty
go
much.
in. But it's looking good. I think numbers are looking. I've heard from a lot of people never heard of that are getting in. Obviously, these other circuits have went away
Mhm.
or stepping back or taking a little time off. I'm not sure. Aim next is maybe just stepping back, but the head to head thing didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know but we got a bunch of bows coming up. There's another young guy out of North Dakota coming up. Some of these young bucks coming up. But for those that are haven't been following along, so you got to be in the top, say 65,
I think
hypothetically.
55
55
was
is 55. There's 65, 68 spots.
I
Something.
mean, but
These
that's
are the unknowns, right? We don't
unknowns.
know.
Yeah, just fish, right? I think if you
Right.
just fish, you'll be fine. The whole thing with qualifying for 2027, they're going to take X number of people and have a real tour is a step in the right direction because that's what we need.
Yep.
And the whole point of this was to eliminate people from one timing or jumping in a local tournament that's in their hometown, taking most of our money from the guys that travel all season and then laughing
Yeah.
at us as we drive away. So it's always been well, I always wanted a tour, let's fish the same amount of guys, the same guys every event, just like fast elites do, right? They know who they're
Yep.
fished against every time. No local advantages, no one timers, and so that's a step in the right direction. We're gonna have a good turnout this year. I can almost guarantee you that because there's
Yeah.
gonna be those new guys that want to get in. Now's their chance to try it, and but then 27 we have a full tour, and I just with all the unknowns of what happens after 27, 28, 29, moving forward with X number of people fishing and payouts and less boats just because there's certain select people that are fishing. Who knows? But I think the step we're taking this year is a good step.
Yeah, but 100%. We've been asking for it in a sense. I think
Mm.
the walleye space as a whole has kind of been asking for it, and you're gonna have new guys getting in, some other guys coming back in probably to say, "Hey, I wanna secure my spot." But like I said, moving forward, how long is that spot
Right,
secured for, right?
right,
Am I in it for at least a couple years? And then if I just
right,
am sucking and I'm in that bottom 10, 15%, am I booted out kinda like in the bass? I mean, there's a ton of questions, and we don't know, and they probably don't know them yet neither, and they have all season basically to try to figure that out, and
for
maybe
sure.
there'll be some angler input or something like that
Yeah,
to come up with it, but nonetheless, it's the right direction. What do the payouts look like? What is the entry fee? So
right,
there's 55, and then maybe 10 of those guys go, "Ooh, that's out of my wheelhouse," or, that's not gonna work for me, so they're not in, and the next 10 get to come in. And then,
right.
unlike bass, we don't have a feeder chain, but kinda what they're doing is about really all you can do.
Yeah, in the bass world, they have to earn their way in. They just
Right.
you got to work your ass to get there to that next level, and then you got to work even harder to get to the top level. So why shouldn't walleye world be that way? I mean, let's think about it. That's if it's going to be called the National Walleye Tour, let's have a tour. Let's
Let's
have
have a tour.
the same guys all the time. Not saying every
'Cause
year, but if you're not fishing well and you're in that bottom 10%, so I'm sorry, but there's another 20 something year old kid just dying to get in there.
Yep.
So let's
Yep.
do it.
I mean, it's only fair, and if you wanna get back in, work your way back up.
Yep. Get
However
our
that
40,
is, so it's
I'll be done.
right.
Right.
Yeah, and it's, the writing's on the wall sometimes like, alright, I'm good, I'll go find a different means. I mean, things do pass us up. We were talking about earlier, we're
Right.
the old guys, we're not getting younger. You and I are both got elbow issues.
Yep.
You're still way back from, your big baseball days, and
Yep.
mine's strictly from
It's
fishing, but yeah, it's there.
tendonitis is
It's
a bad thing in fishing.
tendinitis.
A lot of guys
It
get it.
hurts.
Mhm.
It's bad. I mean, when
Yep.
you're banking on holding that rod and, you set a hook on a 4-pounder even, it's wham, right out of your hand. It's just
Yep.
becomes weak. And I was telling I had a cortisone shot work good. It's been hurting now. That I looked up some therapy stuff. I don't know if anything's working or not. Ibuprofen, but I mean, it'll ruin your liver if you're living on that stuff. So there's
No, it's fun to get old, but people always ask me how long you gonna do this, and I'm like, till I'm not competitive or I lose my drive.
yep.
One of those two things. I'm 55 now, so I don't know if I can do this till I'm 62 and still be competitive and still have fun. I'll be there, but those years are
Quite a
creeping
few
up
guys have.
fast.
And they're coming fast, like you said, they're still holding them back. You can't slow it down as much as we want to. They're ge they're coming at you. They're coming at you fast. The
Sucks.
good thing with their yeah, it does suck big time. I was in the boat all day. Got some new rod and reel, showed up out there rigging, redoing putting all new lead on the lead core lines. And then I came in before we got on here for about an hour, and I was in my recliner with ice packs on both my knees. I skipped the gym today because I'm like, the swelling needs to go down, but I won't.
Mm,
I just can't stop. I go to the gym as much as I can in the winter. and I'll
Right.
run for a mile to warm up, then lift, then hot tub and sauna and what have you. It's an hour, 2 hours, but I'm like, I gotta back off because it's fishing time and guided the last 2 days and just standing in the front, and we had
Mhm.
some good chop, but now you're standing there with your foot on that pedal, live
Alright.
scoping all day. You're like, "Yeah, I gotta stretch in the morning, stretch in the evening,
Yep.
ice
I
my
started,
knees."
last summer, I started caddying with my other son, Jackson, at a big golf resort here about 45 minutes from my house, and he said, "Why don't you caddy?" And I'm like, I never thought about that, so I can schedule my own times when I'm
Yep,
available, and, if I work 3 days a week or 2 days a week or 1 day a week, whatever it is, it's flexible, and plus I get to walk 7.5 miles on average per 18 holes and meet a bunch of
that's
new
good.
people and carry some bags around and make some money, and, I mean, it's been good for my health just to keep moving like that
Yeah.
and exercise. I mean, it's you're sitting around doesn't help, I tell you that.
No, no, in winters, I don't ice fish a whole lot either. In winters, it's pretty brutal, so it's just trying to find things, and these are the
Yep.
conversations for those listening, that old 50-plus-year-old. I'm almost 50, but that these are when we talk about health. I was just unfortunately at a friend's funeral. His dad passed away, and there was 3 of us sitting there, all got that much hair,
Mhm.
except the guy whose father passed away. He comes over with full head of hair, and he's like, "Oh my god, I 3 bald guys." And then we're sitting there, and his cousin is an old friend of mine sitting across from me. We're talking about a lipothyroid or something. It's a thyroid pill, but I'm like, "Oh yeah, doc said I got it." And his cousin's like, I don't know, he's just a few years younger, mid-40s, and he's like, "Really?
Yep.
This is what we're talking about over this table, huh?" We're like,
Yep.
"Hey, shut up, man. We're
Yeah.
this is our life now." So,
Yep. Helps to
everybody
hang
used to
out
make
with
fun of their
company.
parents.
That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, that's where I'm at now, but when the kids start calling you pops instead of dad, you know you're getting there. But I love it.
Hey, pops.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, and then, you kinda have those grandkids, and that stuff's just I can't wait for that.
Me too.
No rush, no
Yep.
rush. I got a 16-year-old daughter, no hurry, but the boy's 20,
Yep.
so the grandkids may be coming here sometime in the few years we get through college, but my wife and I are kinda just like, "Yeah, that'll be awesome." You got
Yep.
empty nest, and then she's got another year of high school, and you guys are empty nested, so you're
Yep.
like, "Yeah,
Yep.
I'll
Both
take
my
on some
boys are getting
grandkids."
married this year. Jackson got married in January in Florida because he's
Yeah.
caddying down there in the winter. And Jay gets married in October, so they'll both be married this year. And then next thing you know, it'll probably be grandkids. So I'm ready.
Yep,
Mhm.
and yeah, I hear you. I'm like, I I have 2 stepkids, so they were 4 and 8, so I didn't have the baby phase, but 4
Yeah.
years old was awesome. I don't know, I'm a big diaper fan era type guy probably, but I'm
Uh,
thinking, my little great niece is like
it's all
2,
right.
3, she's 4 now. I'm like, that area I'm pretty cool with. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. So I
Mhm.
think that yeah, I'm sure I'll be a sucker, and I completely understand why grandparents spoil their grandkids.
Oh,
100%.
sure.
Can't
We got
wait. Can't wait to do it.
we got two
So, just can't wait.
granddogs, and yeah, we spoil them. So just preparing for
Yep,
grandkids.
exactly, exactly. I think we talked about NWT, we're progressed, we're going the right way. This tour, kind of an elite group of anglers that opens up a lot of opportunities for those, let's say, those 55 guys. I think a lot of what you see in the market now is with these so many organizations, so many turn you see in the bass world, right? Sponsorship spread thin because everybody wants to piece, and bass has several $100,000 tournaments.
Yeah.
We don't. We
Right.
have one, you know. So that gives this group puts you a little bit more on a pedestal, and gives Luz and Ranger and Mercury and St. Croix, right, more opportunity, and
Yeah.
maybe some of those riders and some of that media stuff comes back earned wise.
It should.
Um, I don't it it should, the opportunity's there. Obviously, everybody's gonna continue to create their own. You're gonna see a lot more live streaming, I think, this year for those that invested in trying to kinda get it figured out. It's not gonna be like Bassmasters by all means, but you can
It's
hit
something.
play on a GoPro and connect it and let it roll, and people wanna watch, they can watch, so I got my Starlink I got it all set up today. I have to go do a test to make sure it actually works though, because having it
Yeah,
and having it work are 2 different things,
right.
right?
It's not that
Oh,
easy to just throw it in there and have it work. You gotta figure that stuff out, but I always thought too,
yeah.
why don't we have walleye track? Just like bass track,
Yep.
where you can throw the weights up on your phone when you're catching fish throughout the day, and even if your co-angler does it, right? Well, that fish was 3 pounds, 6 ounces. At least our families know how we're sitting. They're watching throughout the
Have you
day. They're not
I
just waiting for
think
yeah.
I have a
Is that what we're
feeling
gonna do
so have
now?
you been in the Fishing Chaos app that we have to use now
Right? You think
has
that's what
that in
that's
it. It
gonna be?
has the yeah, it has the live leaderboard in it.
They do have that,
So
so
my
maybe
guess
that is coming. They just haven't told us, they just
so
said, "We're using Fishing Chaos."
right, I have like
Why?
we've moved over to this. It's in there. So the question is Jeff gonna make it so just because now you can use your phone, right, to
Right,
reboot,
right.
precision trolling data app, right? There's all sorts of things, I mean, which people have probably used it forever with now, but it's not now it's written out in the media package. You can use your phone for these few items.
Sure.
Well, I imagine that with that being available, my guess is completely hypothetical, to be kind of reading between the lines, setting it up for next year. But this you're saying, hey, this is a feature that's available. If you want to use it and enter your weights, go ahead. Where you could just hand it to the co-angler and say,
I
hey,
hope so.
you know, and
Yeah.
guys, but it needs to be closed so the tournament pros don't see it. So if you're cracking them and the guy's like, geez, Jason's got 40 pounds, you got company, right?
Yeah, I think there's a way around that, because I know guys that have used that kind of technology in tournaments, and they cannot see that
Yeah,
leader.
totally.
All
Yeah,
they
I'm
can
sure
do
that the administrator on it.
when they hit enter, that's all it's gone, and they can't see the leaderboard with
Yep.
the bass weights or the walleye weights, so it's out there,
Yep.
they can do it, which
Yep,
they
on
should.
Fish Donkey, when I added, I could close somebody has to see it, so administrator could, but you could close it to the group.
Right,
I don't know how Fish Chaos works, but I'm sure it has the same feature.
it's gotta
Worst
be.
case, you can just close it to where the tournament director is the only one that sees it, but then he can update people on social media or something at least. But I imagine there's a way to it closes it from anglers and then it just leaves it open to the
I'm
public
sure
or
I'll find out this week at the Classic because I know the Fishing Chaos guys that work there, and I can
okay, yep.
I can ask them, and they'll give me the answers about that.
Yeah, it's just kinda my theory or hypothesis on this is a and my guess is he's setting it up, they're setting it up for next season. A lot of guys have come out into the Fishing Chaos app tournaments
Mm,
this year using it, so
yeah,
the feature's there, so I'm like, "Hey, why not use it?"
right,
So,
right.
and yeah, like you said, that'd be great, right? Instead of your wife waiting for you to send them the text at the end of the day of
Exactly,
good or bad.
right. Wait till
So,
three
I told my
o'clock.
wife I'll have it live stream, and she's like, "I don't even wanna watch it." She's like, "I'm nervous enough waiting for
Yeah,
that 15 text to come in with the thumbs up or thumbs down."
right.
Keep saying,
Yeah,
trying to find out and send her to one of these, it's mediocre, it's not good, it's
yeah.
not bad. Well,
Well,
I
I
think
just tell my
so
wife what what a good weight is before the tournament, so I text her 15 pounds, and she knows if 15 pounds is good or bad, so I usually give her a heads up before the tournament starts, like, "Alright, anything over 18 is good," whatever
so
it
she
is.
knows going to Erie and she gets a 15-pound text from me, she's gonna go, "Ha,
Yeah,
damn it."
no, no, no.
She only got 2 or 3 of them, I guess, so.
Yep.
What are we thinking? Erie, first stop. This, so maybe be one more podcast right before we get to Erie. So, what's your take? Schedule looks good. I like it. I think this year's good. He's like I said, we have a good number of people. I think we got a
Yep,
good schedule.
yep, a
Erie's the
lot of big
first stop
water,
in a month. A
obviously.
month from today.
Yep. We're gonna be heading out probably 1st or 2nd of April and start on Monroe, Michigan, out of the western side of Lake Erie. Lake Erie's Lake Erie. I mean, it's all
All
based
right.
off water clarity, where the fish are positioned during that spawning time of year, and there's going to be big fish caught. There just is. And it's all based on water conditions. If it's dirty, it's going to be tougher. If it's clean,
Yep.
it's tough, and if it's in the middle, it's perfect, but
Right.
that'll dictate to how far we gotta run. We might be able to run 3 miles and catch good fish, or we might have to go 33 miles and catch fish, but, it's a good way to start the year on Erie. I don't think anybody ever complains about going there. I mean, it's the best fishery in the world right now, so sheer
Right.
numbers of walleyes are ungodly, like, put your trolling motor in the water, and how many fish can you see at one time? It's, like, unbelievable, so that'd be a good start. Then where do we go? We go to, Mulbridge, right?
Mobridge, Hawaii,
Mulbridge.
yeah.
That'll be a new one for a lot of guys because that's in May, you know? It's still gonna be pretty early in the year out there.
Yeah.
Uh, it's gonna be an interesting tournament. What can we
I
weigh?
think
2 over
that's
20?
the most difficult one on the schedule, I think.
I
They're the
think
one
so.
I'm least looking forward to even, that's not a local for me. I mean, it's still 4 hours away, and I've
Right.
never fished it in May. I mean, I
Me
love
either.
the fishery, but I'm like, there's just a lot of variables. I think it's could be really pretty good,
It should
but
be good from what I've heard and talked to a few people that I know, and it's still gonna take big fish there. You're gonna have those
yeah.
2 giant ones and your perfect unders, and I like that we put boundaries on it too. That's a good thing, just
Yeah.
212 bridge to the south. Thank God we don't have to run 65, 75, 85, 105 miles somewhere. So that's
Right.
always a good thing.
Right.
Price of gas is too high right now, so that's a good thing. But that'll be a fun one because the last time we were there, boy, how long has it been? It's been a while.
It's been a while, but somebody right here won a championship there, I'm pretty sure, so
We did win one there. Yep. That was in August, of course. That'll be a lot
Right.
different, but love that place. It's just fun to fish there. It's so remote, and you don't have houses on the lake, and
Right.
you can
Yeah, it's
literally
beautiful.
fish where nobody is, and just have endless structure. So that'll be a good time. But then we go to Lake Michigan, Green Bay, Bay back to
Yep.
back. Um, I think Bay first.
Yep.
Michigan waters only, which is a good
Yep.
thing. Once again, don't have to run until we run out of gas. Um, Very familiar with Badenoch. I've been fishing there since the early '90s. Feel very comfortable there. That'll be a good tournament that time of the year. Um, it's a good choice on
Yeah,
there.
I'm looking forward to that one the most. I've actually never have fished bait and ox, so
Oh, really? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It'll be good. It's the right time of year. There'll be plenty of fish caught.
Yep.
But then we go to Green Bay the end of July. Um, that's pretty much the perfect time of the year. That's right when those big walleyes really start biting.
Mine.
Been on that lake too many times to know what time of year everything kind of happens out there. And you could pretty much put it in the books of August 1st till August 31st is the best time
Right.
of year, hands down on Green Bay. And we're there the last few days of July, so it should be just fine. And then we're restricted to Wisconsin waters only, which is great.
Yeah,
So we don't
excellent.
have to make the trips all over the place. And then by that point, hopefully we're in the top 40, and then we go to Lake
Right.
Sikaku for the championship, which that would be very interesting with the boundaries they put on it. It's very small.
Very
Coming up
small boundary, but for
very,
40 boats, it's big enough.
which is fine. I mean, I'm not
Right.
complaining. It just makes it different. And 40 boats, that's fine. There's going to be big fish caught. You just got to figure it out, and then
I was a little surprised to see the boundaries that small on
right.
that one. I thought maybe at least to the beacon,
You're
I
right.
didn't think there'd be boundaries at all. That's about what the North Dakota Governor Cup boundary is now.
Right.
They shrunk it down and that's 200 and something boats, so,
Right. Which it's
it's
fine.
fine.
I mean, everybody's playing by the same rules, so
Yep.
there's no advantage to anybody there. So
Nope.
yeah,
I like it.
hopefully we get to that point and uh, make another championship and maybe win one. Who knows?
Hey, that's the ultimate goal, right? Everybody's like, "Well, what's your goals?" I'm like, "Well, it's the goals everybody wants to win.
Right.
We're not like now after day 1, your goals can readjust. You're like, "Alright,
Yeah.
now I'm
Yeah.
shooting for a top 10," right? Because it's I
Yeah.
I'm a realist sometimes, or it's a championship and you're the 10th spot on day 3, which now we're all fishing day 3.
Yep.
So that was a
That's a
interesting thing,
bonus.
which
Mhm.
yeah, which is because and like in Sakakawea, you're never out of it on,
Right.
on some of
Oh, you
these,
can
and
play more.
even yeah, on some of these you're not out of it. So
Mhm.
it gives you something to shoot for. So
Yeah.
I like the top 10 type thing, making it a little bit of elite type deal, but then there's I don't know. Some of the stress is off when you're in that top 10.
For sure. I
Right? You
mean,
made it and you got a paycheck. You're
I think they maybe should have cut it in half instead, maybe top
top
20,
20.
but
Yeah.
you got a guy out there fishing that caught no fish the first day and 2 fish the second day, and now what's he gonna do, right?
Right.
He can't go where other boats are, so, just it's awkward that way, but it is
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
if you're in that bottom 25%, it's I could just go
Right,
home, save
right,
$100 in boat fuel,
pretty
but
much.
then you get the co-angler who maybe is sitting there, now you're going out and trying to put he or she up
Yep,
into the money, and yeah, yeah.
yep,
But like you
yep.
said, sometimes they're just in the way, and it's not that they're purposely in the way, they're just
No.
if you're on a place like Mississippi River, you
Right,
lock up, lock down, you don't know where people were.
alright,
So,
yeah.
and then you show up and you're like, "Oh, shoot, sorry, man." I mean, if
Sorry.
I'm in that position, I'm in your way and I'm in the bottom 5, just tell me,
Yeah,
I'll leave. I'll gladly move over. Have at it. So, but
right.
if you don't know what you don't know. So, anyway,
Yeah, it's looking forward to it, man. It's winter's been long enough. The boat I took in this morning to get wrapped, and that'll be done when I get home from the classic, and then I'm ready to start fishing. It's all rigged and ready to go. I'm
you should be
just
thawed out
dying.
by then, hopefully, over there. And
Yeah, maybe. We still
maybe,
got some ice hanging around. The river's super high because we had a big rain the other day and some snow. The river's super high to get out, but there's places we can get out.
well, you got the only river that's super high then, because this
Yeah,
is, it's not too good around here. Chamberlain's Missouri River, it's still low, but at least I don't have to put almost water up into my door. First time
oh,
out, I opened the door and it was this close.
really.
I mean, yeah,
Oh,
it was, but now it's barely got to get the back tires in. So, but it can still come up. I mean, it came up, I think, 6 to 8 feet since mid
wow,
February. Yeah.
really? It was
And that,
that low?
yep, they're pushing some. There's not any runoff coming down. They just had to move some
Sure.
water.
Sure.
But I think that's done because it came down a little bit the other day.
Right.
Like some of the ramps, you can't even use them. Like the old marina at American Creek
Mhm. Yep.
underneath the bridge, there's not enough water.
Nothing.
First time I went out there, that was just dry. Now there's water and they put buoys, but ain't nobody using it. So the
Yeah.
docks aren't. If the docks are pushed in, they're still all the way out of the water. So either
Right.
they haven't pushed them in or they're just out,
Yeah.
there's just not enough water. So
It's low.
yeah, I
Bay's
don't think
low. It's really low, actually. The Fox River hasn't got any water yet, and the bay is pretty low. So, good news is we had full ice this year, so it probably didn't evaporate as much water over the winter.
yep.
So, if we get any rain this spring, it should start raising back.
That's the crazy thing. We're always, oh, it's low, it's this. And I've had this, back in Nebraska days of McConaughey, they're like, it's 30 feet. It's going to take 3 months to fill it up or 3 years to get it full. Then 3 months, it was full pool. It
Yeah,
just took a whole bunch of good rains and all of a sudden, boom, problem
doesn't take
solved.
much. Mm,
No, no, you get all that runoff gets in there quick. So,
yeah.
all righty, you got to get some packing. You got a flight to catch early in the morning. We could talk for a long time, but I'm sure we're going to have you on here again this year after you get that win or make another championship,
Well,
right? So, I mean,
hopefully,
I'm rooting against you, but I'm rooting for you. I mean,
yeah.
I'm a fan of all Hall of Famers. So,
Yeah,
and
we'll give her heck and see if we can't win another one this year. I came close last year on Alpena,
yep,
Michigan. I was on the right fish there. I just lost a couple fish, but still gonna just keep working hard and see what happens and maybe hoist a trophy. We'll see.
I think there's going to be a good mixed bag. I think everybody's getting better on the scoping aspect of
Yeah,
things. I think you're just going to see it not so kind of one. I mean, we've had a handful of guys that have just been doing great, and because they're freaking good, and they're still going to do good.
yeah,
But I think you've seen Kahi come up over the last couple of years. Everybody else is just kind of getting with it.
yeah,
They're getting better at it.
yep,
So,
yep.
um,
Everybody's learning. They're figuring it out. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. It'll be fun.
then it's just, it's committing to. But Erie, that's always a crapshoot. Hey, trolling's always in play on Lake Erie. So
Good
you never
draw, good
know.
cast. Even Mobridge, same thing. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Definitely at Moorbridge. There's a reason I put new lead on today. You got to get them unders, and there's a quick way to get them.
I
So,
just looked at mine today, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's all ready to go." Okay.
yep. Yeah. It's our trucks. I got a new truck, and I got a topper ordered. So it should be here in, well, hopefully a
Wow.
couple more weeks. But I'm like, I'm hauling way too much gear to not have a topper on this thing. So I got to look like Jason out there. I got to get a new
Wow.
topper. So
Good choice. Good
yeah,
choice.
it's a smart thing to do. It's very, what's the word? Pragmatic, I think. For a fisherman to have a topper where he can lock all that gear up.
Yep.
So,
Lock it up, keep it dry, and don't have to worry about it.
and instead of carrying everything in our boat, adding all
Right.
the weight and being in the
Yep.
way and stepping on stuff, and
Yep.
because yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many pounds of lead jigs are in in the jigs are in the boat, but one side is damn near gonna list because I carry so many jigs of different styles and sizes because I love to jig fish. So I'm like, there's 8 boxes of just jigs.
Yep.
And then Tom's
90%
got
of it
one.
under seawater.
Yeah, exactly. When I started pouring my own as a guide, I go through a ton of them because we drag a lot of jigs and, well,
Uh,
up in the river, you snag a lot of stuff. So, it's like I clip
yep.
like half a dozen of them on the carpet every day, and by the end of the day, they're gone because I've had to
They're gone. Yep.
snap off and retie. So, anywho, all right, we'll leave everybody. You got a nugget or any tips, tricks, pointers for them?
Mm, I think just kind of a mention out to the younger people, um, up and coming young guys that want to fish for walleyes and want to get to a certain level. Anybody can do it. I'm proof that I can do it. Anybody can do it. Um, Took my lumps along the way, but you just gotta commit 100%. There's no 70% commitment. It's
I'll
100,
half-ass it.
and you gotta learn every day on the water, and that's the approach I would take to it. Just love the sport, learn every day on the water, and commit to it 100%.
YouTube, all these things are great, but nothing beats time on the water.
You gotta fish. You just gotta fish. You can't learn everything online. You can't talk to your buddies and say, "Oh, where are they biting?" That's old news if they tell you where they're biting. So
Right.
go find your own bite.
Yep, and if you only go fishing when it's great, you're not gonna get any better.
Right. Exactly.
When it's easy, everybody be doing it, right? It ain't
Right.
easy, folks. So,
No.
it ain't easy. Oh,
Nope.
oh.
Well,
Alright, thanks you a ton, Jason. Once again, congratulations on your well-earned and deserved Hall of Fame induction. That is absolutely
appreciate it.
awesome, and good luck to Jay, and safe travels. We'll be rooting for him. I think the whole walleye world's got his back this week. It's gonna be fun in Knoxville. It's gonna be a good one. So hopefully he's on them.
Hopefully.
So
Cross our fingers.
we'll
I
we'll
appreciate it.
we'll find out soon. So, all
Yep.
right, folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Real Talk Fishing. Stay safe. Keep those lines tight. We'll see you on the water.